Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm putting together my February TBR and I'm trying to do something a little looser and less structured than what I've had over the last couple of months. I've been slumping really hard through January, I think partially due to a book hangover from Rain to Readathon and partially due to just having been sick at the start of the year and having lost a lot of motivation through that because it really just threw a wrench in a lot of my plans. So I feel like I need a little bit of a reset in February, and I think that focusing on just picking up whatever I want and letting myself mood read a little bit, I think that's going to help. I think that's going to help me regain some of that momentum and the motivation that I feel like I've lost a little bit in January. It's going to help me maybe rebuild the habit of reading regularly. So that's the aim. And what I have here is just like a stack of hopefuls, things that I think are the most likely books for me to pick up in February. And I'm not going to put too much pressure on finishing this stack or focusing on this stack. But this is, as I'm filming, sort of the list of things I think I'm most in the mood for right now. So that's the plan, such as it is. Before I dive into the stack, though, I do want to briefly mention The Red Winter by Cameron Sullivan. This is the one book I am planning to read in February because it's an arc that I'm very excited for. This is a debut that's a dark, queer historical fantasy about the Beast of Gavaudan, which is this really interesting period of history where there was some sort of creature sort of terrorizing the French countryside, and there were all these different eyewitness accounts that agreed in some ways, disagreed in others, and to this day they still don't really know what the Beast of Gavaudan was. I just think that's a super interesting bit of history, and I'm really excited to read a fantasy book based on that. So I have to mention that because it comes out on the 24th, and I'm definitely planning to read it in February. So moving on to my actual stack of hopefuls, the first couple of books I have here are books I want to carry over from my January TBR. So I have The Stardust Grail by Yume Kitase, which is a space heist book that just sounds like it's going to be a good time. I am still really interested in picking this one up, and I've heard so many good things about this author's writing that I feel like it makes sense to carry it over into February and try to prioritize it. I feel like this is one of the ones that is more likely to actually get picked up. And then my other carryover from last month is Cloven Country by Jeremy Hart. This is a nonfiction about the way that devil folklore has influenced place names in the English countryside, and I think that just sounds like a super fun, niche, nerdy bit of nonfiction, which is kind of my favorite kind of nonfiction, so I'm definitely interested in picking this one up soon as well. The next couple of books in my stack are both recent purchases that I just kind of want to go ahead and get to. So we have Hemlock and Silver by T. Kingfisher. I've been wanting to give her fantasy books a try for a while now because I love her horror, and I'm hoping I'll like her fantasy just as much, and this premise really stuck out to me as something I think would be right up my alley. This one's following a healer who specializes in poisons and unusual illnesses, and she ends up being summoned to help a king's daughter who's suffering from some sort of mysterious ailment, and as she's trying to heal her, she ends up stumbling on an alternate world that may give her the resources she needs to heal the daughter, but may also be the source of the thing that's killing her, and I just think that sounds like it's going to be great, and I love T. Kingfisher's writing, so I'm hopeful that I'll like her fantasy as much as I love her horror. The other recent purchase is of Monsters and Mainframes by Barbara Truelove. I've actually been looking for this one for a while, and my partner managed to hunt down a copy the last time we went to Barnes & Noble. This one is sort of Dracula in space, it sounds like. It's about a sentient ship called the Demeter that is convinced that Dracula has come on board and is killing all of her people, and so she's like teaming up with, it sounds like, a lot of other sort of classic movie monsters to take him down, and that just sounds like it's going to be a really fun time, and I've been hearing some really good reviews about this one, so I've been wanting to get to it for a while. I'm excited to finally have a copy, and I want to go ahead and read it. So after putting that part of the list together, I decided I wanted to break things up a little bit because I have so much science fiction and fantasy on the list, so then I added a couple of like mystery thrillers. So we have The Widow by John Grisham, which is a book I'm actually like 150 pages into. I was a little bored in those first 150 pages, but I think I am now getting to the meat of the mystery. I think I've gotten to the first major turn in the story, so I'm interested to see where things are going to go from here, and I'd like to finish this one up so I can take it to my mom so that she can read it, because she is also a big John Grisham fan. I kind of got that from her, and I want to be able to pass it on to her so that she can read it as well. And then I have one that she gave to me after she started it and didn't like it, which is Murder Your Employer by Rupert Holmes. This is a thriller about a secret college for murder, and it sounds really interesting. The premise sounds fun and silly. My mom did not like this one, so I've been a little hesitant to read it. I ended up putting out my self-destructing TBR for the year, actually, and I want to go ahead and give it a try because I think it sounds like it could be really fun. It could be like exactly the kind of thing I need right now where I'm struggling to focus on books, but I'm also just a little bit hesitant because my mom didn't like it. But there are a lot of times that we disagree on books, so I still feel like it could be a book I end up loving. To mix things up even further, I also added a horror to my list, which is The Shining by Stephen King. I thought this would be a really good, like, seasonal, wintry horror, and it's a book I've been meaning to try for a while. I was actually gifted this copy for Christmas. My partner's parents gave me a box set that had this Salem's Lot and Carrie in it, so it's a few of the Stephen King books that I have not tried that I really want to dig into because I've been trying to explore his backlist a little bit more. But this particular one, my partner loves the film version of The Shining, so I thought it would be really fun to read it and then watch the movie with him. The final book I want to mention is A Labyrinth of Science and Sorcery by Curtis Craddock, and it's a little premature for me to be putting this on the list because this is the second book in the Risen Kingdoms trilogy, and I am just now reading the first book. This is the first book this year that has really grabbed my attention and made me excited to read. It's a series that's following a young woman named Isabel who's noble-born but does not have the sorcery that her family line expects of her, and so she's kind of disadvantaged, also disadvantaged by being a woman in her society, and it's following her and her loyal musketeer Jean-Claude, who is present when she's born and continues to protect her throughout her life, and the two of them go on various adventures with, like, political machinations and skyships and science and magic, and it just sounds really fun. I'm really enjoying the first book, and the second book sounds really cool too. So I wanted to go ahead and put this on this list because I don't read series back-to-back super often, but every once in a while something just kind of grabs my attention, and I feel like the series could be it, because I am just really loving the first book so far. So these are the books I am thinking I might read in February. Probably won't read all of them, but some selection thereof I think is likely. Let me know down in the comments below what you're planning to read in February, and if you've read any of these and what your thoughts were. I also really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I hope you consider giving it a like, maybe even subscribing to see what comes next. I'm currently posting at least once a week, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.